Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I'm an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. I want to take a quick minute and wish Nick and Brad both a very happy birthday. They share the same birthday. They celebrate another year around the sun, so I want to take a minute and wish you both a very happy birthday and congratulations on that trip around the sun. So I'm thankful you guys let us come in and be a part of your recovery story and get to watch your all's progress on your road to recovery. So again, congratulations and happy birthday. Speaking of recovery, tomorrow night, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington. If you're local to Huntington, West Virginia area, we have our Crosstalk Friday, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Just a very laid back and informal meeting. We just sit around, drink coffee, laugh, and have a hell of a good time. The quickest hour in recovery. Come on down and hang out with us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I want to talk about something I heard in a meeting from Monday night. And yes, I know it's Thursday. I'm an alcoholic. My brain doesn't work quite as well, right? But I heard this Monday night. Somebody was sharing about how they compared themselves. And I thought back, and I've thought about it all week, really. And why is that so important? Because if we're not careful, when we start using comparisons as a tool for recovery, we can inadvertently and unintentionally hurt ourselves. And here's what I mean. I shared this last week, how when I came back into the rooms, I had admitted defeat. I'd already admitted that I could not control my addiction, my drinking. My pride had already taken that hit by admitting that, and that's why I was back in the rooms, right? If I still thought I could control my drinking, well, I would have never come back into the room. And I was drinking in the first place because I was hiding all these insecurities and feelings of inadequacy. My drinking was masking all these my own insecurities, right? So not only did I have these insecurities and I took a hit in my pride by admitting I couldn't even control my drinking, I'm back in the rooms, I come in and I start listening to people share. And I start comparing myself to other people's past. I start comparing myself to my perception of other people now. I listen to people talk and I'm like, man, I wish I had their life. They seem to have lived a pretty good life. Why can't I have the job that they had? Or why can't I have the car or the house or the spouse that they've got? Maybe I could even look at it from the perspective of, damn, they got 4 DUIs, 2 felony convictions, served 18 months in prison, and maybe I'm not as bad as what they are. Maybe I'm not an alcoholic. I'm comparing myself. I'm comparing myself to their history. I may be comparing myself to how I perceive them to be now, to others now. They come in the room. Are they really that happy, joyous, and free? Is it fake? I did that too. Is it fake? It's got to be fake. It can't be real. All right. I'm comparing myself to other people's past and how I might perceive them now. And that can be very, very dangerous. Why? Why is that dangerous, you might say, might ask? Well, because when I compare myself to other people's past, and I compare myself to how I perceive others to be living their lives now, I could inadvertently be reaffirming and reinforcing my own feelings of inadequacy. But keep in mind, I didn't feel good enough whenever I came into the rooms. I didn't feel worthy enough, and that's why I drank. I had my own feelings of inadequacies and insecurities, and that's why I was drinking. And so coming in the rooms, I start comparing myself, hearing other people's story. I could, if I'm not careful, unintentionally start reaffirming those inadequacies and those insecurities in my life. I like to say this, and I've been thinking about this all week. If I'm going to use comparisons as a tool, I want to make sure I'm comparing apples to apples rather than apples to oranges. If I'm going to use comparisons as a tool, I want to make sure I'm comparing me against me. In other words, I want to make sure I compare me today versus me yesterday. When I look back, I compare myself today versus me 3 years ago. Night and day difference, totally different person. That's okay to do. I'm going to compare myself against my history rather than comparing myself against somebody else's history. I want to compare myself, how I perceive myself today versus how I perceived myself yesterday. If I'm going to use comparisons as a tool in recovery, make sure that I'm going to be using it correctly. I'm not going to be comparing myself today versus somebody else's history. They're in the rooms too. Keep this in mind. Those people that are in the rooms with me, they're in the rooms too. Something brought them into the room in the first place. Just like my own admission of defeat brought me into the rooms, something brought them into the rooms too. It's not for me to know. It's not for them to, they don't have to tell me. I don't need to know. All I need to know is that I'm in the rooms, I'm here to fix me. And so if I'm going to compare myself, I want to make sure I'm comparing myself today versus myself from yesterday. What I did yesterday or 3 months ago or 3 years ago. Comparisons can be a very powerful tool, especially when we're trying to measure our progress. Absolutely. But we got to make sure we're using it correctly. As with anything, there's many powerful tools out there that we can use. It's just a matter of how we're using them. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's past. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's today. Again, they have their own reasons for coming into recovery. Compare yourself against you. Use comparisons to measure yourself against your own starting point, if you will. Use comparisons the right way. We don't want you to reinforce your own insecurities. We want to build up that level of security, that feeling of self-value and self-worth. And if we're comparing ourselves to other people's history and how we perceive other people to be now, it's going to make that a lot more difficult in the end for us. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be more appreciative. If you have a topic you'd like to hear discussed, feel free to drop it into an email to me, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. Take a look at it, see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.